everyone, welcome back to Design Code. And this 4 episode, we're going to design this beautiful design and analytic app design. Data is everywhere, but raw numbers alone can be hard to understand. That's why good UI design help turn data into clear and easy to read visual. In this episode, we're going to learn how to design chart and graph that make information simple and useful for users. We're going to work on two screens, a user engagement dashboard featuring bar chart to compare user activity and progress bars to highlight top performing content, and cash flow overview screen where we're going to use a radar chart to visualize financial data across multiple months. So let's get started. Before we start designing, let's talk about data visualization and UI UX design. When we design an analytic app, the goal is to make complex data easy to understand. And users don't want to read long table or number. They want a clear visual that help them see pattern, trends, or problem quickly. And to make data visualization, here are some important things to remember. First is to choose the right chart for the data. Not all chart work for every type of data. For example, bar chart are great for comparing number. Line chart are best for showing trend over time. And radar charts help compare different categories. Try to keep it simple because too much detail can make a chart confusing. So remove anything that is not useful because the goal is to make data clear and easy to read. And also use color wisely. Color should help user understand the data, not just to make the design look pretty. For example, you can use bright color to highlight important data or different shade to show difference. But be careful, too many color can be distracting. And make sure it's easy to read. Add label, number, and tooltip to help user understand what the data mean. Also think about user who might have difficulty seeing certain color. So using different shape or pattern can help. A good data visualization doesn't just look nice, it should help user find answer fast. And this is why design choice like spacing, font size, and layout are important. And they guide the user eye to what matter the most. There are many other type of chart, each designed for a specific purpose. Let's look at some of the components that we create for Design Code UI Kit. Let's look at the pie chart first. So this chart is useful when you need to show how different parts contribute to a total. So each slide represents a category and its size corresponds to its percentage. Then donut chart, similar to a pie chart but with a hole in the middle, and making it more clean and easier to read, especially when comparing multiple sections. Now let's take a look at this component. Yes, I call them bar charts because they use bar for visualization and are used to compare value. But the more accurate term is column chart. Let me explain the difference between them. Bar chart use horizontal bar and are great when you have a long category name or need to compare many items. And column chart use vertical bar and work best for time-based data like monthly sale or yearly growth trend. Now let's look at the progress bar, which is a simple and effective way to visualize the completion status of a task or process. It can be designed in different ways, such as a circular progress bar, a vertical, horizontal progress bar, depending on the context and user need. Each type helps track progress in a clear and visual, engaging way. In this section, we're going to design the radar chart. A radar chart, also called a spider or web chart, it's a type of graph that help compare multiple things at the same time. It's look like a spider web with line extending from the center and each representing a different category. So this data is plotted along this line and connect to form a polygon shape. All right, so now let's talk about the element of a radar chart. At first, it might seem a bit complicated, but don't worry, it's actually simple when you break it down. So first, we have the center point. This is the middle of the chart, where all the line, also called axis, start. And next, we have the axis. These are the lines extending from the center and each one represents a different category or variable. So a radar chart needs at least three lines to work perfectly. Then there are the grid. They are the line connecting the axes, creating a web-like panel. So this grid help organize the data and make it easier to compare value. So there are two type of grid. You have the circular grid. This look like ring or circle with each ring showing a different level of value. And also you have the polygonal grid. This form shape like pentagon, hexagon, or other multi-side figure depending on the number of axes. This type of grid look like a spider web and give the shore a more structured appearance. So you can choose between circular or polygonal grid based on what's look best for your design. And finally, we have the value. These are the data point placed along each axis. Different colors are often used to separate and compare different set of data clearly. And that's it. These sample elements come together to create a radar chart. Now it's time to start designing the radar chart, and the first step is creating the grid. And the grid is the foundation of the chart. So we have to choose between the two styles, circular grid or polygonal grid. Let's start with the circular grid. Press O and create a circle of 300 and remove the fill. Add a stroke with a white color and reduce the opacity to 20%. Next, we're going to adjust the stroke style to make it dash and set the dash value to 4 and the gap to 4, which control the length of the dash and the space between them. Now, let's create the grid effect by adding multiple layer of circle. To create a small circle, we're going to duplicate the first one and reduce each by 60 pixel in size. So we will go from 300 to 240. Oopsie, make sure to lock the aspect ratio. Otherwise, the circle will not be proportional. And make sure to align it in the center. And you can see the spacing by pressing on Option. Then duplicate again and change the size to 180. Again, duplicate 120. Then duplicate the last one and change the size to 60. This gives us a spacing of 30 between each circle. And then we're going to group everything together. Now that we have the base structure, the next step is to create the arrows that define the axis. Press L. Create a horizontal line of 320 from the center of this circle. Set the color to white at 60 opacity. And we're going to adjust the start and end points to line arrows so that each axis has an arrowhead. We are going to create 6 axes, so we have to duplicate and rotate the line. Half of the circle is 180. If we divide it by 6, we get 30. So first duplicate the line and rotate to 30. Then duplicate another line and set it to negative 30. Okay, so once the axes are in place, we're going to move on to adding the month label to make the chart easier to read. So let's start by the arrow at the top. Press the and type, by example, Jan for January using caption 1 semi-bold and auto width. And make sure to align with the line and the spacing should be around 8. Repeat the same process and change the month. Okay, so we're going to group all the text together. Oops. And then select the group and we're going to change the color to foreground primary. Right now is in light mode. We're going to switch the mode into dark. Again, we're going to group the line together. So it's going to be more organized. Now let's add the number on the radar chart to create a skull that matches the type of data we want to display. So this represents car flow per month. The number should reflect financial value. So there are different ways to define this call, such as using raw cash flow value. So we can go from 0 to around $3,000 per month, or using percentage, or using normalized call. If we're going to compare different data set, we might use a sample range like 0 to 100 to make multiple metrics easier to compare on the same chart. So I'm going to go from 0 to 100. Make sure to align with the first line. So, and the middle is going to be 0. Make sure to group. The last step is to add the data shape. So this is the visual representation of the data inside the radar chart. And now that we have everything in place, the last step is to add the data shape, which will represent the actual value for each month. So we're going to use pen tool. So press on P to plot data point along each axis based on the value we want to display. So click on each axis at the correct value position. Connect the point to form a polygon shape representing the data. So I'm just going to do randomly, okay? Then I'm going to change the color temporary and we're going to change the color after that, okay? So let's repeat the same process is going to be for the outcome. So I need two data polygon, one for income and the other for outcome. And then we're going to fill with linear. After that, I'm just going to focusing on create the structure first. And then after that, we're going to add the color. Okay. So I just want to build the card. Okay, and then we're gonna make sure that everything is organized properly, and we're going to add inside a frame. Oopsie, so the number become in light mode. Simply change the mode to dark. Okay, for the next step, um, we're going to add component that is already created by me because I don't want to spend so much time for the detail. The focusing it on the is creating the structure of the radar shard. For the other element, just simply take the components. So we're gonna save so much time. Okay, just change the mode. And then we're going to select the three container together. We're going to add into a single container using auto layout. So hit Shift plus A. And the next step, we're going to add spacing, padding, and the color. So we're going to set 56 on for the spacing between item and 24 for the padding for each horizontal and vertical, and resize the frame to hard content. And now let's add some color. So go to fill. We're gonna add a secondary color for the background. And we're gonna add stroke using the border color for the container. And we can round the corner. And now let's change the color for the polygon shape. So I have two accent color. And then we're going to increase the stroke width. So one fill with the primary color, and for the other, fill with secondary color for the accent color. Okay, wait, you know what? I'm going to change the color for the container to container background territory instead. And of course, I'm going to change the mode for dark. First, I will remove the hour from the indicator component. Then I will duplicate my card to create the version with the polygon grid and fill area for the polygon. So let's remove the element that hide the grid and keep only the circular grid. It's gonna help us to create the polygon grid. So to create this polygon grid, simply use the pen tool and place a point aligned with the circular grid and the axis line has a gate. And repeat the same process for each grid line. And now we can remove the circular grid. After that, add the value to each axis point, and instead of just using a sample outline, You can fill the polygon shape with the same color of the outline but reduce the opacity. So this helps visually differentiate the fill area. And that's it. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so we are done for the first card. Let's jump into the next section. We're going to create the other card. To watch the rest of this episode, I invite you to visit designcode.io and the Design Multiple app with Figma and AI course. You will find all the episodes, including the rest of this one. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you like this episode. So see you in the next episode. Bye.